Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Unit 2 Under Pressure. My objectives for today: by the end of this lesson, students are expected to: number one, scan the text for the main idea; number two, scan the text for details; and number three, answer questions on the text. As you can see here in this picture, we can see a man who is under pressure. Of course, under the pressure of this stone. He is under the pressure of this stone, and you, as a student, are under the pressure of time. Let's go through the lesson and find more about this thing. Here, the lesson starts, or the text starts with a problem. What is the problem in this lesson? Here we have: you feel that you are wasting your time. Wasting your time تضيعي وقتك and not getting enough done. لم تنجزي الكثير. This is the problem. You are wasting your time and not getting enough done. Now, the writer tells us that you are not alone. There are a lot of people like you. Here he gives us a solution. The solution is that there are a lot of books about time management, إدارة الوقت, in the market. But here he never advises us to buy them. He doesn't advise us to buy them. He says, but you don't need to waste time and money reading them. You don't need. نحن لسنا بحاجة to waste time and money. يضيع أو يبدد الوقت والنقود reading them. In other words, he says that they are not good, the time management books. Now, instead of buying the books, he says, or he gives us, here are some tried مجربة and tested تم اختبارها tips. You know the meaning of tips. Tips means pieces of advice. Tips, it means pieces of advice for getting things done. Instead of reading the books, he says, don't read the books. Don't buy them. Don't waste your time and money. Instead, he gives us some tried and tested tips. As I told you, tips, it means advice. Pieces of advice for getting things done. عشان نحصل أو ننجز الأعمال. Now here we have the tips. The first one, look after yourself. Look after, as you know, it means care about. اعتني بنفسك. Look after yourself. اعتني بنفسك. The second one, first things first. First things first. الأشياء الأولى ابدأ، أو الأشياء المهمة ابدأ بها أولا. Number 3 or C, just do it. ابدأ. فقط ابدأ. Just do it. The coming one, it is D, one step at a time. خطوة واحدة في المرة الواحدة. One step at a time. And here we have keep going. استمر. Keep going, it means استمر. Okay, let's now go through the small paragraphs in our lesson. Now, the first one, it's so easy. It's so easy. What does he mean by it's so easy? It's so easy to make excuses. Yes, he is right. You remember the word excuses. Excuses here, it means untrue reasons. It's so easy to make excuses. Also, it's so easy to avoid يتجنب the thing you should be doing. For example, if you have an exam, إذا كان في عندك امتحان after 2 days, you say, okay, I'll study, but I need to drink some juice. Okay, so you go to drink juice or to buy juice or to make it. By that, you waste your time. So here, drinking juice here is an excuse. It is a way to avoid studying. It is a way to avoid the thing you should be doing. لازم تكوني بتدرسي. You say, no, I'll make some juice, I'll buy some juice. Okay, by that you waste your time. Now, here we have the experts. Experts mean خبراء. Experts الخبراء. The experts, of course, advise us. What do they say? They advise us to break يحطم this habit العادة أو هذه العادة. Which habit؟ اللي هي avoid the things you should be doing. عادة تجنب عمل الأشياء المهمة اللي لازم أكون أنا بعملها. How can I break this habit؟ كيف أنا ممكن أحطم هذه العادة؟ By becoming aware of your own excuses. كوني واعية لنفسك، واعية للأعذار اللي أنت بتختلقيها لنفسك من أجل ألا تقومي بالمهمة الملقاة على عاتقك. The right time to do something never arrives. يعني مش لازم تضلك قاعدة بتستني أنت الوقت يجي الوقت. Because it never arrives. Because you are going to say later. By that, you are not going to start. Now, the best time to do something is usually now. Now, do it now. Don't say, I'll do it later. No, do it now. The best time to do something is usually now. Okay? Now, the coming one. Once you have got started. What's the meaning of once? Means if. Okay? إذا you have got started بدأتي, you will probably find that it wasn't as hard. لم يكن صعبا كما ظننت, as you thought. Of course, here the tip or the suitable tip here is just do it. Just do it. Okay? ابدأي مباشرة. Now, the coming one, it's important to make yourself. It's important to make yourself. أن أصنع لنفسي. What to make to yourself? A cup of tea? Of course not. To make yourself here a to-do list. A to-do list. The things that you need to do on the day. Or exam revision timetable. So it's important to make yourself what? A to-do list or exam revision timetable. جدول مراجعة للامتحان. Now here, remember, listing things isn't the same as doing them. أن أضع الأشياء في قائمة ليس كتنفيذها. Doing them ليس كتنفيذها. Which one do you think is more difficult? من الأصعب? Listing or doing? أن أضع الأشياء في قائمة أو تنفيذها؟ أكيد تنفيذها هو الأصعب. Okay, so remember here, listing things isn't the same as doing them. Once you have worked out, it means عرفتي, علمتي, what needs to be done. Once, as we said, it means إذا عرفتي ما الذي تحتاجي أن تنجزيه, what needs to be done أو تنفذيه, decide which task أي مهمة which job has the highest priority من منهم له الأولوية الأعلى and which can be left till later وأيهم الذي يمكن أن أتركه إلى وقت إلى ما بعد ذلك. So once you have worked out what needs to be done, decide which task has the highest priority and which can be left till later. So here in this paragraph, I think the best tip is first things first. الأشياء الأكثر أهمية تأتي أولا. First things first. Okay, let's go through the coming one. It's inevitable من الحتمي inevitable that things don't always go as you expect them to. أكيد أنه ليس دائما تجري الأمور كما نحن نتوقعها. It's inevitable من الضروري من الحتمي that things don't always go as you expect them to. If you find that you have hit a wall here الترجمة الحرفية تصطدم بالحائط ولكن معناها الاصطلاحي هو أن تواجه شيئا صعبا. hit a wall. There are two things you can do. The first one, first persevere. If you find something difficult, if you hit a wall, إذا واجهت شيئا صعبا, first persevere. With a bit more effort, you know effort. We had this word in unit 1 period 2. With a bit more effort, مع قليل من الجهد, you may find that you break through the wall. ربما ستكتشفي أو ستجدي أنك سوف تخترقين هذه الحائط. تخترقين هذه الحائط تعني أنك وجدت حل للشيء الصعب الذي واجهتيه أو سوف تتمكني من اجتياز الشيء الصعب. So, if you find that you have hit a wall, there are two things. First, persevere. With a bit more effort, you may find that you break through the wall. So you need here to persevere and to have a bit more effort. By that, you can break through the wall. تتغلبي على الصعاب باختراقك للحائط. If that doesn't work, that here, if you persevere and that doesn't work, what shall I do? Here, try having a short break. Now, do something completely different. Like, for example, and come back to the task. Now, if that doesn't work, try having, and you persevere and you did the effort and that doesn't work, try having a short break. خذ لك راحة قصيرة. Do something completely different. For example, watch TV, call a friend, have something to eat, then come back to the task. عودي مرة ثانية لما كنت بتعمليه أو المهمة أو للوظيفة التي كنت بصددها. Of course, here the best step is keep going. Never give up. Here we have the first one. Even if you are under stress. If it happened and you found yourself under stress, there is no point in making yourself ill. تتظاهري بالمرض. أوكي، إذا حدث وأنت تحت الضغط there is no point in making yourself ill. تتظاهري أو تدعي المرض. It can make the pressure worse. سوف تجعل الضغط أسوأ. Now make sure تأكدي you eat regularly and healthily. Healthily, it means to eat healthy food. Now, and here we have try to get enough sleep. Sleep well. Now, if you are under stress, there is no point, no purpose, لا جدوى in making yourself ill. It can make the pressure worse. لا تتظاهري بالمرض. Make sure instead of making yourself ill, make sure تأكدي you eat regularly and healthily. Try to get enough sleep. And of course, the best tip here is look after yourself. Care about yourself. اعتني بنفسك. Now let's go through the coming one. You can't make your brain work on demand. Your brain, as you can see here, this is your brain. Work on demand. يعمل تحت الطلب أو بناء على طلب أي شخص. طبعا you can't make لا تستطيعي أن تجعلي دماغك أو عقلك يعمل تحت الطلب أو عند طلب أي شخص. Don't spend too much time on one task. لا تقضي وقتا طويلا في عمل شيء واحد فقط أو عمل مهمة واحدة فقط. The third one here, learn to recognize when you are slowing down. تعلمي أن تميزي متى أنت تتباطئي في عملك. ربما في البداية تكوني سريعة جدا في إنجاز المهمة وبعد ذلك تبدأي في التباطؤ. فيجب عليك أن تتعلمي learn to recognize أن تميزي when you are slowing down. The coming one. Do you remember this sign? تذكرين هذه الإشارة؟ هذه الإشارة إشارة القسمة. So look here. Divide. Divide means يقسم. Divide large tasks into smaller parts are easier to manage. Dividing large tasks نقسم المهمات الكبيرة إلى أجزاء أصغر أسهل لإدارتها وتدبر أمرك فيها. Divide large tasks into smaller parts that are easier to manage. The coming one. Here we have a gift. Here we have a reward. Now, reward yourself. Reward is a verb. Reward كافئي. Reward yourself for doing them by doing something fun. Now, the last tip here is one step at a time. One step at a time. خطوة واحدة في المرة الواحدة. Here let's go through the exercise. Here we have 5 sentences. We should say which every sentence or each sentence belongs to which paragraph, okay, or to which tip. Let's read the first one. There is so much to do that it gets confusing and I don't know where to start. This one comes from tip number 2. Now, the sentence or statement number 2, I sometimes reach a point where I get bored and information just stops. المعلومات تتوقف. Okay? Now, this one, sure, it comes from the tip number 3. Now, the question number or the statement number 3, I got worried and my head starts hurting. Starts hurting صداع. رأسي يبدأ يؤلمني. Now here we have the tip number 4. Now the question or the statement number 4, I always seem to find other things to do and time just runs out. الوقت ينفذ مني. الوقت ينفذ. So this is the one. Yes, it is number 1. Number 1. The last one, I sometimes think it's all too hard and I want to give up. كل الأمور صعبة وأريد أن أتوقف. Here it is tip number 5. Okay, by that I have finished the reading lesson, and here there is the exercise. Till we meet again in another lesson, inshallah. I'd like to say to you thank you and goodbye.